My name is Jeff Welch. I work for CBG Biotech. Okay, I've actually had lab experience before, so any questions about laboratory I'll be glad to answer for you. I worked in pathology for about 22 years. What we are showing you today is a 2.5 gallon solvent recycler. This unit is totally self-contained. There are no vapors or odors. Charcoal filter mounted on the side panel lasts for 2 full years, and it's a $30 item. You can place this unit just about anywhere you want to. You don't need a special room, no special ventilation. It's very portable, as you can see. This unit does roll very nicely. It has wheels down at the bottom. The only requirement that this unit needs is a plug. Plugged into a standard 110 outlet, nothing special. Okay? Alright. We're going to start with xylene, and we're going to have xylene and alcohol today. Do note that you can also do all the subsolvents. So if you have a lab that has subsolvents of any kind, our machines do recycle those also. We do vast varieties like acetones and other variances like that. Okay? Just so you're aware of that. We're going to start here. This is a Nalgene, 2.5 gallon Nalgene container, white Teflon spigot. This is to resist the solvent breakdown. You always want these white Teflon spigots with the petroleum-based products like xylene. Okay? These are made by Nalgene. The one thing we have developed, however, is fine mesh strainer. Filter out any particulars. Metal mesh. These should virtually last you forever unless you step on them. Don't step on them. These are really great, so what you can do is leave these in here, pour directly into the container itself, put it on the machine, start it, and walk away from it. Okay? Limitations. Every xylene can be recycled. There's no limitation in a lab you can recycle, but you need at least to a solid gallon, which is this mark, and don't go above the 0 mark. So anywhere in this parameter is fine. What you're going to do essentially is take this container, set it up here, into this juncture here, and what you have is your safety straps here to help hold it in place for safety. And then we have our fill line. As you can see here, this is our fill line. Just take that and let it rest up into the spigot there. Very simple, ready to go. What you're going to do is this machine is going to start, and you're basically going to walk away from it. What's going to happen is it's going to feed down inside this machine into a stainless steel tank wrapped in insulation blanket. So there's no external heat, only internal heat. So this other nice doesn't heat up your walls or heat up your lab area whatsoever. It's real nice. First thing it's going to extract, your ethanol waste. The water and alcohol that's in your system, which is your primary contaminant of xylene, will come here first. This will be the only liquid waste you'll produce from xylene. Then your pure xylene here. 95% in volume, 99.9% pure. In many cases purer than your stock, because it takes out the byproducts. And then the next question is how many times can I recycle my xylene? Forever. You will order some over time, but I can virtually cut your orders down by 3/4 and your waste stream down by 95%. Then the final waste, which you'll pull around here, you can see, which is nice, the fact that this rolls, is this container here. This is your paraffin. This is a paraffin waste container. So any paraffin that's in your xylene will go into here, because in most processors, in laboratories and staining lines, you deparaffinize your slides, or you're cleaning out your processing tank. So there's paraffin in it. Where does the paraffin go? It goes in this container. And what you do is let that paraffin build up in there like a big candle. So in 3 to 6 months when it gets full, you discard that as you normally would your paraffin off your processor and replace the container. So you don't have to worry about it as much, which is real nice. Also, with the portability with this machine is total spill containment. The trough at the bottom is a spill containment trough and will contain a spill. The other nice thing is this has no pressure and vacuum. It's a completely gravity-fed system. Very benign, very safe system. Okay? Let's go over the little operation. Real simple. Let's turn it here so you can see it. This is your primary operational point here. Manual attached to the unit will help with the operation of the system. 800 number, 24/7 customer service base. We're located in Columbus, Ohio. If you need us, we're there from 7:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night on the Eastern time zone, same time zone. Okay? Emergency e-stop here. Everybody looks at that nice big red button there. It's there because it's UL certified, certified to be safe in the labs. UL requires that you have the e-stop on the system. If at any time you want to shut this machine down, all you have to do is, and the machine is off. To reactivate it, don't pull it, just turn the direction of the arrows, pops back out. It does not lose program because it loses power. Very nice system. Alrighty. I know some of you it's a little bit hard to see, but we'll go over this. What we have here is xylene mode, enter to recycle. So if I want to recycle xylene, all I'm going to do is press enter. The next line is no to change solvents or access to other functions. Really all you need to be concerned about is to change your solvents. You want to do either alcohol or xylene or something else. So we're going to concentrate on that first today. That's the primary thing we're going to worry about at this point. If I want to change solvent, it says no to change solvent, so I press no. It shows select product, options, diagnosis, and settings. There's all these things in there that you see, but you don't have to worry about them. Basically, all you need to be concerned about is to select a product. Okay, you want to pick what you want to do, right? So, select a product, I want that, I'm going to press enter. It shows select product, it shows Xylene, because that's what it's set for. It says next no to change, enter to select. So if I don't want Xylene, simply just press no. There's alcohol. If you don't want alcohol, press no again. Goes back to Xylene. And that's what this is set for at the moment. Do note that our systems are able to hold 5 different solvents at one time. So you can recycle multiple things with this unit. Okay? Alright, we're going to start with Xylene. I want Xylene. Enter to select. Enter. Just reset your system. Now this is how easy it is to run Xylene. You ready? Okay. Xylene mode, enter to recycle. Check containers. So make sure everything is there, is in place. Loosen the lid. You're going to crack your lid a quarter of a turn because it's a gravity-fed system. Not enough for vapor to escape, for enough for airflow. Open the spigot. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, off to the on position, which is open. I know this is kind of crazy, but just do what it says. And press enter to fill. You're watching me, right? Finger, enter. That's it. This is the noise it makes. I know it's real deafening, but this is all you're going to hear off this machine. Tonnage doesn't change. This is it. And this now runs to total completion. The click you heard is the internal valve, which allows the product here to flow through this line and into the tank. And now it's on a filling timer. You essentially walk away from the unit. And I have it in a teaching mode so I can show you what happened. It's going to fill. It says unit filling, auto starts engaged, waiting for start. So it will start. Then all by itself it'll start. It'll operate, it will give you an operation time. Xylene is an hour per gallon. Okay, so if you did a full run, about 2.5 hours. And you can run this machine back to back. There's no cool down time in between. First thing it's going to do all by itself is draw the alcohol waste. The water and alcohol that's in your Xylene, your primary contaminant, will come here. Out of a full run, you'll probably get a half a liter or less of liquid waste unless you have a lot of carryover. Then, it's going to draw the Xylene, the pure Xylene you're expecting to get back from us. No color carryovers or transfers, 95% in volume return, 99.9% pure. In many cases, purer than your stock, because it takes out all the byproducts. What you're going to get back is pure Xylene, which will come back, of course, in this container here. Then, it'll open the waste drain, dump whatever can't recycle the waste, which would be paraffin. If there's no paraffin in it, nothing will go in the waste. It's not going to hurt the machine. It just follows its normal procedure. Closes in the cycle. Now this machine has done this all by itself. You're not pushing these buttons. I'm just showing you what happens. So basically, once you did the initial start fill, you walk away from the unit. You could do this 5 minutes before you go home, anytime during the day. It's not a problem. And you can run this multiple times back to back. Okay? That's Xylene. Very simple. Do them all. It's the easiest one to do on the machine. Okay? So let's talk about alcohol next. We're going to take off our little safety straps. We're always going to make sure our spigot is closed for safety, because there's always a little bit at the bottom. Now that is the normal below the spigot amount. Don't ever tip it in the machine, please. It's graduated to be there, so if you had a full run, you'd overfill the unit. So just leave it in there, close the spigot, take the container off. Okay? All right. Then, our next change will be this. We have our, for solvent only, for alcohol only. The ethanol waste is the alcohol waste from Xylene. Okay? That makes sense. So what we're going to do is take this cap off. And we're going to take this off because this will be the ethanol waste that it returned from. We're going to find our recycled alcohol container, all labeled for you. And this will go right back in here. Go down these lines. And you see these lines? See the double lines? One is a product line and one is a venting line. So we're venting through the entire process. So you just take this, screw this down firm. Doesn't have to be rock tight. So we're venting through the entire process. So you just take this, screw this down firm, doesn't have to be rock tight, and then, can somebody get me that alcohol container up there, please? The other change we're going to make is this. This is your paraffin waste container, okay? I'll back this up best I can. Paraffin waste container, that's where the paraffin is going to go. So, we don't want alcohol to go in there, we want just paraffin to go in there so it solidifies. So we have another container that looks just like it called the alcohol waste container. This will be primarily just a liquid waste from the alcohol. Pretty much it's going to be water, inks, and dyes and a trace amount of alcohol. You do not have an alcohol that low at this point in histology or cytology, anything. This is way below 20% when it comes out. So we'll take this container. We have this small little line here. We even have a venting line. We vent our waste. So I'll pull this out of the hole. I'll unscrew our little black cap here. It just has a hole around it. It goes around the big vent drain. And there it is. Okay, same container. We'll just switch caps. Take the alcohol waste container under. A couple of turns later, this will go down, ready to go. Bring this over. Now we already have a filled alcohol container, so we'll set this up here. Let it rest on there, and have our straps in place here. Okay? So there's your container. Now this is over the gallon mark, so it's plenty to run. We don't go above the 0. Excuse me. And this pink alcohol will be clean and clear when it comes back. You have cytology alcohols that are green, histology alcohols that are pink. These very pink, green alcohols will now be clean and clear when you get them back. Our alcohols are so clear, we're Cytec Imaging certified for alcohols now, so we have a very high rating for sterility of alcohols. Okay, operation is going to be about the same, except you see they have a blue spigot here. This is a standard spigot for a water-based product like alcohol. Okay, everything is labeled properly. It also has its own fine mist strainer, so everything has its own place. Now, you see that the xylene containers here, you're like, well, what about this? It can stay there. Only thing that's going to go in there is xylene. If you take it off, that's fine too, because only xylene will go in there. So what's going to happen is this is going to feed here into the tank, and you're going to get your clean alcohol here. So, very simply, what are we going to do? We're going to change our program. It says xylene mode end of cycle. The machine's done. But you want to start again. So very simply, you'll just want to push reset. And it goes back to xylene. But you don't want to do xylene. You want to change the solvent. So it says no to change solvent. So just press no. Little select product. I want to select the product. That's where the little arrows are pointing. I want that. Press enter. Select product. It shows xylene. I don't want xylene. So let's press no. Exactly. Alcohol. I want alcohol. Enter to select. Enter. Reset your system. There you go. Now we're ready to do some alcohol. From xylene to alcohol, it's going to make you flush. And what are you flushing with? A liter of the dirty alcohol you have in here anyways. These are gallon marks. These are liter marks. So basically, this would be a liter. So all you would do is this, very simply, and it's only on your first run. And then when you do your alcohols, you do them all together. So it makes it very simple. So, alcohol mode enter recycle. Flush is required. So the machine knows it needs to flush, which is nice when you have multiple users. Somebody forgets to tell the other person, that type of thing. So press enter. Performing manual drain, enter when jug's in place. The jug they're talking about is the waste jug. And why are we doing this? To make sure there's no residual xylene from the previous run. So all you do is simply stand in front of this machine, just press enter. That's the waste drain opening. And you just stand here and wait. And actually it says, please wait. As soon as the actuator switches and says enter when done, simply just press enter. Enter when done, enter. And it closes. Just those few moments are enough. If you get a drop or two, you'll be lucky. Then, it says put the fill jug in place in the new container in place with a new solvent, which is going to be your alcohol. There it is, ready to go. It says alcohol mode. Loosen the fill jug lid. Open the spigot, which I'm not going to do at this particular second, and press enter. I did just what it said, enter. It says alcohol mode. Press enter and fill with 1 liter of solution. This is the liter I told you about. If it was lower, it'd be a liter. All you have to do is stand here about 10 more seconds. Press enter. If we were doing this, you'd allow 1 liter to go in. Stand here for a moment, about 10 seconds. Let the liter go in. As soon as you see the liter go in, it says, press enter to stop the filling for flush. I'm going to press enter, and now I'm done. You can now walk away from this unit. You leave this open, which it would be, you leave this loose, and you're ready to go. And this is what happens. That liter's gone in to clear out the line in the tank. It runs for about 12 minutes or so by itself, which really doesn't matter to you. Then, it opens the waste drain. It dumps that liter to waste. So that liter will be wasted on the first run of alcohol. Then, it closes, and this is the cool part. Restarts itself. And now it will recycle the rest of this alcohol, less that liter, without you even being here. So very nice. So now the rest of the alcohol will go in. It'll start as the last time did. Operation, 1.5 hours per gallon for alcohol. A little bit longer, so 2.5 hours for a full run of Xylene on this machine, 3 hours for alcohol. Okay? Draws the alcohol first thing, so the clean, clear alcohol will come out here into this container. And how do you know what that container holds? We give you a new hydrometer. For those of you who know how to use a hydrometer, or those of you who don't, I'll explain it really quickly. This is a standard hydrometer, specific gravity. What you would do is have a graduated cylinder, about 500 ml graduated glass cylinder, and you put in about 3/4 of the alcohol you got back from this system into that graduated cylinder. You have graduations. You have 100 proof and on down, and on one side there's 200 proof for labs that use 200 proof alcohol. And simply you would just set this inside the graduated cylinder, let it float at the meniscus line. Do you all know what the meniscus line is? You would just look at that and read exactly what your concentration of alcohol is. It works very well, and you can't lie to you. If it says it's 95% alcohol, it is 95% clean, clear, sterile alcohol. Alcohol collection is really a little different. You can do all the alcohols except those contaminated with xylene. Because xylene is a petroleum-based product, you can always take water out of oil. You can't completely take oil out of water, just to make it simple. So, on the tissue processor, you can do all the alcohols except those. The one in usually your cleaning cycle, purging cycle, if you have one of the automatic processors. On a histologic staining line, typical histol staining line, you put xylene to paraffinize your slides, and then you've got several cups of alcohol right after that that you can't recycle. But you go down your staining line, and you might have an alcohol before eosin. That one's fine to recycle, and the ones right after eosin are fine on a staining line. And you can do all the alcohols on a processor except the cleaning alcohol. Even the ones after formalin, they're fine. So you have that. Just like before, it'll open the waste drain, dump whatever can recycle the waste, water, inks, and dyes, and trace amount of alcohol. Closes, in the cycle. It's done. If you were to reset this machine and run more alcohol, which I recommend you run your alcohols together, if you reset this and went through the whole gamut again, it just starts because you've already flushed. When you go back to xylene, there's no flush. And then the last thing to show you is this. What happens if the power goes out? Power goes out in the system, what are you going to do? Power went out in the system. Power comes back on. Press enter to finish the current cycle is what you'll see. You might know that because your other machines might be having issues also. So what you do is you'll press enter. Enter to finish the run or no to drain the unit. If you believe there's about a gallon left in this machine and it's been cold, just press enter. And it will restart itself. So it saves you from having to, redo all that again. If you believe it's almost done, then just drain the system and it'll start it up again. Okay? And that's really it. So it'll finish off the cycle. And this does it in xylene mode too. I'm just showing you in the alcohol mode. I can't rush the actuator, it gets mad at me. in the cycle. That's all I have. This is it. That's the machine.